Greetings fellow gamers, I'm the Soulsborne Seeker and today I'll be reviewing Tiny Dangerous Dungeons Remake, a retro-styled Metroidvania game developed by Adventure Islands and released on the 6th of March 2025 for PC as well as Android and iOS devices. Tiny Dangerous Dungeons Remake is, as the name suggests, a remake of Tiny Dangerous Dungeons, a Game Boy-inspired Metroidvania that came out back in 2019, with this new edition featuring improved visuals and music as well as new content. The game tells the story of Timmy, a young treasure hunter who decides to venture into the depths of a dungeon that was once home to a goddess that vanished, so that he can claim the treasure hidden within. The problem is that the place is filled with enemies and traps, so his mission will not be easy. Needless to say, the game's narrative is nothing more than a simple framework for you to have some fun in its colorful world, whose nostalgic quality hit me like a ton of bricks from the second I started my playthrough, with the title's pixel art presentation and wholesome music paying tribute to the classic platformers of the 90s with incredible effectiveness. The setting here is quite compact, with the whole game transpiring within a single interconnected dungeon that features a variety of different biomes which are home to unique traps, enemies as well as theme, such as areas relying on the elements of water or fire for their gimmicks. The world is predominantly structured around horizontality, with the various rooms you'll get to explore being connected together mainly by doorways you pass through. That being said, the map has quite a few secret places to discover, which you do need to seek out if you wish to get stronger and eventually see the game's true ending. More specifically, when it comes to the game's exploration, the collectibles you'll get to acquire are divided into life fruits, equipment pieces, keys, and mysterious crystals. Life fruits, once obtained, raise your health by 1 heart, making it harder for you to die. Equipment pieces provide the various different traversal abilities you need to fully explore the dungeon, such as the skill to push heavy crates, throw daggers, or bounce off of enemies by jumping on them Super Mario style. Keys are necessary to unlock the numerous locked doors you will come across. Finally, mysterious crystals are necessary in order for you to get the true ending of the story, and are definitely the trickiest collectible to obtain, since not only are they located at the other end of quite challenging platforming segments, but finding said segments requires keen observation. When it comes to the aforementioned collectibles, they do get automatically marked on the map overview along with other points of interest, which is great. My only gripe in relation to said overview is that it doesn't show you your exact position on it, but rather pinpoints the overall room you're currently in. In all honesty, the map is very easy to traverse and I highly doubt this will be an issue for a lot of people, but I still feel it needs to be mentioned. Platforming wise, I very much enjoyed the acrobatic challenges I came across here, whose difficulty had a nice gradual increase the deeper you ventured into the dungeon, starting with some basic platforming sections before slowly introducing a variety of different obstacles, and culminating in the aforementioned mysterious crystal gauntlets, which were very fun and mildly stressful to get through, though never felt unfair. Platforming was definitely a highlight for me, and was complemented by fantastically crisp controls and solid hitboxes that allowed for various close calls when it came to the numerous traps and pitfalls present. When it comes to combat, Tiny Dangerous Dungeons Remake is simple, fun, and true to its retro mentality. There are a total of 2 different ways in which you can take down enemies, those being the throwing dagger and the spiked souls. The throwing dagger, as the name suggests, allows you to throw a blade at your enemies, which takes most of them down in one hit and can also be used to push platforms from a distance, like these logs over here. The spiked souls pretty much turn you to Super Mario and allow you to jump on top of enemies and bounce off of them as you take them down, which is also the only way to kill the foes wearing helmets. These 2 modes of combat may sound simplistic, and I guess to a degree they are, but they're also incredibly satisfying and can lead to some awesome platforming instances. That being said, where these 2 equipment pieces become the most vital is during boss fights. I cannot begin to express how much I loved the bosses I got to fight in Tiny Dangerous Dungeons Remake. Each and every one of them felt like a blast from the past, featuring completely different attack patterns and movement mentality and feeling just right in terms of difficulty. I once again need to compliment the game's crisp controls here, which made each bout against its big bads a fun romp where defeat never felt cheap and victory relied on pattern recognition, even when it came to certain bosses that may have seemed brutal at first. This, along with platforming, were my 2 favorite aspects of the game. In terms of difficulty, I'd situate Tiny Dangerous Dungeons Remake on the normal side of things, with a few instances of increased challenge in certain situations, but never to a frustrating extent, with said elevated challenge corresponding to the mysterious crystal platforming gauntlets as well as a couple of the bosses. As for length, it took me about 2 hours and 20 minutes to complete the game with 99% completion rate while missing a single life fruit, with an estimated additional 20 to 30 30 minutes for 100% depending on player observation levels, placing it on the shorter side of things. For a price of about $8, this was definitely a worthwhile purchase based on fun factor alone. In conclusion, I had a blast playing Tiny Dangerous Dungeons Remake. I loved its visual style and music, which took me back to my childhood. I enjoyed its platforming segments, I had a lot of fun with combat, and absolutely adored the boss fights. It would be great if the map showed your exact location on it, but given the game's small scale, this didn't really feel like a big issue. Tiny Dangerous Dungeons Remake is a nice change of pace from the lengthier and at times sprawling Metroidvanias that dominate the market. It is meant to be simple, compact, straightforward, and fun, and it fully achieves these goals by offering an experience that is as entertaining as it is nostalgic. If you're looking for a short and sweet Metroidvania experience that doesn't ask the world of you, Tiny Dangerous Dungeons Remake will definitely deliver. My final verdict on Tiny Dangerous Dungeons Remake is 8 out of 10. What are your thoughts on Tiny Dangerous Dungeons Remake? Have you played it yet? Do you agree with the points I mentioned, or do you see things differently? Let me know in the comments below, and please subscribe if you enjoyed this video. As always, thank you so much for watching. Until next time, Soulsborne Seeker out!